Just a reminder regarding COVID-related Illinois Open Meeting Act protocol. Jeanette will be attending the meeting at the ONCC offices, and for each motion, there will be a full roll call vote. At this time, can we do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the flag
United States
of
of
the United States of
America,
America
and
to the
republic
republic
for which it
stands
one
one
nation,
nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I know it's appropriate to stand up when you do the pledge, but I can't because then you'll see the pair of shorts that I'm wearing.
Yeah,
So
more than we want to see this time of morning.
Jeanette, can we have a roll call?
Sure. Village of Addison,
Here.
Village of Arlington Heights, Bartlett.
Here.
Bensonville,
Here.
Bloomingdale,
Here.
City of Chicago,
Here.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Here.
38th Ward,
Here.
39th Ward,
Here.
40, 41st,
Here,
45, Cook County, Des Plaines,
Here.
Downers Grove, DuPage County,
here,
Elmhurst,
Here.
Elmwood Park,
Here.
Franklin Park, Glenview,
Here.
Hanover Park,
Here.
Harwood Heights,
Here.
Hoffman Estates, Lincolnwood,
here,
Melrose Park,
here,
Mount Prospect, Niles,
Here.
Norwich,
Here.
North Lake,
Here.
Palatine, Park Ridge,
Here.
River Forest,
Here.
River Grove,
Here.
Rolling Meadows, Rosemont,
Here.
Schaumburg,
Here.
Schiller Park,
Here.
South Barrington,
Here.
St. Charles,
Here.
Stone Park,
Here.
Wayne, Wooddale,
here,
School District 2, 7, 48, 59, 63, 64, 80, 81,
Here.
84, 85 and a half, 86,
Here,
87,
here,
88, 89,
Here.
100, 214, 234,
Here.
and 401.
Here.
Thank you.
Excuse me, did you call Itasca?
Who is speaking?
Dino Gavanis.
Hi, Dino. Can I have a conversation with you after the meeting?
Certainly.
Yeah, thank you. I'll chat you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have a quorum, Jeanette?
I'm sorry. Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion and a second to approve the May meeting minutes?
I'll move so.
second,
Any discussion on the minutes? If not, call the roll.
Edison,
Yes.
Arlington Heights, Bartlett,
yes,
Bensonville,
Yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago,
Yes.
36th Ward,
Yes.
38th Ward,
Yes.
39,
Yes.
41st, 40,
yes, 41, yes,
41, 40, Cook County, Des Plaines,
Yes.
Downers Grove, DuPage County,
yes,
Elmhurst,
Yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Franklin Park, Glenview, Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights,
Yes.
Hoffman Estates, Lincolnwood,
yes,
Melrose Park,
yes,
Niles,
Yes.
Norwich,
Yes.
North Lake,
Yes.
Palatine, Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest,
Yes.
River Grove,
Yes.
Rosemont,
Yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes.
South Barrington,
Yes.
St. Charles, Stone
Yes.
Park,
Yes.
Wooddale,
Yes.
School District 81,
Yes.
86,
Yes.
87,
Yes.
89,
Yes.
214, 234,
Yes.
and 401. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Next, today, I'm pleased to welcome Miss Amy Hansen from the FAA, who is going to brief us on the scoping presentation of the O'Hare International Airport Terminal Area Plan and Air Traffic Procedures Environmental Assessment. I'm glad you're all here because this is going to be an important presentation. And I can't think of anybody else who would do a better job than Amy. Welcome, Amy. Amy? Can you hear me, Amy?
Good morning. Of course, I just got a warning that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Of course, it's Friday morning. I just got a warning that my bandwidth is low. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera while I give the presentation so you can see the materials.
Okay.
I'll share my screen. Jeanette, is my screen being shared?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you for inviting me to present these materials today on the scoping process for the environmental assessment. The presentation I am using, along with the animated video version of it and other materials, is available at www.faa.gov/airports/great_lakes/TAP and ATEA. The FAA is at the beginning of this environmental assessment and public outreach opportunities for it, including this scoping process. We ask that instead of asking questions of me today or making comments, please use the information on the website to do so. That way we will have a record of all information received during this process. The entire team can review the information for development of the environmental assessment, and the public will be able to review all scoping comments when a draft environmental assessment is published in the future. One other important item I would like to note before I begin the presentation is that this environmental assessment does not evaluate the ONCC's development of a future fly quiet, as that proposal is not yet complete. If the City of Chicago Department of Aviation proposes a future fly quiet to the FAA in the future, a separate NEPA process would occur for that proposal. The existing approved fly quiet is assumed in the analysis for this environmental assessment. I will now begin the rest of the presentation. The FAA is conducting an environmental assessment to evaluate changes to O'Hare International Airport proposed by the City of Chicago Department of Aviation. The changes involve the terminal area, numerous capital improvement projects, and hotel development. In addition, the FAA is proposing to permanently implement offset approach procedures for O'Hare for runway 10 right, 28 left. In other words, these are slightly angled flight approaches. An environmental assessment provides information and environmental analysis to help determine the paths forward for a proposed project. The FAA is preparing the environmental assessment under the National Environmental Policy Act, the National Historic Preservation Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and other applicable laws. This assessment determines whether a proposed project has the potential to significantly affect the environment. It also helps determine whether the FAA will need to complete an environmental impact statement or issue a finding of no significant impact for a proposed project. The FAA will involve the public throughout the environmental assessment process. Now, during the scoping process, the FAA seeks input from the public and other agencies to define the range of environmental issues and possible alternatives to study in the environmental assessment. Throughout the process, the FAA coordinates and consults with other agencies such as federal, state, tribal, and local officials. Finally, the FAA will invite the public and other agencies to comment on the draft environmental assessment, and it will respond to comments in the final environmental assessment. There are a number of steps in the environmental assessment process. They include scoping, where we are now, preparation of the draft environmental assessment, circulating the draft environmental assessment, opening a public comment period, evaluating the comments, responding to the comments, and publishing a final environmental assessment. The final step could include issuing a finding of no significant impact, issuing a finding of no significant impact along with a record of decision, or issuing a notice of intent to prepare an environmental impact statement. We are currently at step 1, the scoping process. In order to provide adequate terminal, gate, and apron areas for existing and projected activity, improvements at O'Hare International Airport are needed. The range of the projects has 5 major goals: provide updated facilities that comply with industry recommended guidelines, maintain the airport's financial independence and meet its financial obligations, minimize aircraft movement taxi time, consolidate and relocate employee parking and screening, goods processing, and commercial vehicle holding away from the terminal core, and retain operational capacity and avoid delays. Concerning proposed federal actions, the Chicago Department of Aviation is requesting that the FAA approve its airport layout plan, which depicts the proposed projects, and that the FAA determine the eligibility of the proposed projects for federal funding. In addition, the FAA's assessment is focused on retaining previously approved air traffic control and airspace management procedures for safe and efficient movement of air traffic in and around O'Hare Airport. The entire proposal includes 35 projects that can be organized into 5 groups: terminal projects, on-airport hotels, airfield and taxiway improvements that are not required by the terminal projects, support facilities that are not required by the terminal projects, and air traffic actions for offset approach procedures on runway 10 right to 8 left. This is a depiction of the current O'Hare terminal configuration. It shows terminals 1, 2, 3, and International Terminal 5. Improvement projects are proposed to areas throughout the terminals and the airfield. Numerous projects are proposed for the terminal area. They include construction of the new O'Hare Global Terminal and Concourse, construction of the new Satellite 1 Concourse, construction of the new Satellite 2 Concourse, expansion of the Terminal 1 Concourse, in addition to the Terminal 3 Concourse L Stinger, construction of a consolidated baggage and pedestrian and moving walkway tunnel, extension of taxiways Hilo and Lima, construction of new taxiways north of Satellite 2, modifications to taxiways Hotel and Juliet, and the reconfiguration of taxiways Alpha and Bravo. Also, here are 2 temporary terminal area proposals: a temporary walkway and extended jetway from Concourse C, and a temporary heating and refrigeration facility. Projects planned for Terminal 5 include curbside addition and interior reconfiguration of the terminal, roadway improvements, a curbside expansion, and construction of a parking garage. There are 2 proposed on-airport hotels. One hotel would be built near Terminal 5, and the other project is a new hotel on Mannheim Road near the multimodal facility. It would include possibilities for retail or dining developments. The proposal includes airfield and taxiway improvements that are not required by the terminal projects. They include conversion of a vehicle parking area to an aircraft hold pad, expansion of the runway 28 right blast pad, reconfiguration of taxiways Papa, Victor, and Yankee, demolition of a section of taxiway Tango, and a taxiway Delta Delta realignment. And within this project group, there is proposed construction of additional exit taxiways next to runway 9 left, 27 right. There are also a number of support facilities to be improved that are independent from the terminal projects. New airside service roadway is proposed, and there is a planned expansion of the commercial vehicle holding area. In the northwest corner of the airport, the project proposes to move aircraft rescue and firefighting station number 4 to a new location. On the west side of the airport, there would be a number of additions, including a new heating and refrigeration facility, an employee security screening facility, an employee ground transportation facility and parking garage, a landside access point for airport employees, construction of new landside detention basins, new airside service roadways, and a centralized distribution and receiving facility. Above and beyond the airfield, there also is an air traffic proposal that would make permanent the previously approved offset approaches to runway 10 right, 28 left. The current air traffic procedure allows for simultaneous approaches to 3 runways and allows for future simultaneous approaches to 4 runways. These procedures had been approved previously for temporary use, and the proposal would seek to make them permanent. In the east flow configuration, the proposal makes the procedure permanent that allows for a 2.5 degree offset or slightly angled approach for arrivals to runway 10 right. The offset occurs when flights are flying westward and after some of them turn to the east to make a final approach to runway 10 right. If the procedure is not made permanent, air traffic would revert to the previous procedures. Arrivals to runway 10 right could not be made at the same time as arrivals to runway 10 center. This would lower the arrival rate and increase flight delays at the airport. In the west flow configuration, the proposal makes the procedure permanent that allows for a 2.5 degree offset or slightly angled approach for arrivals to runway 28 left. This offset occurs when flights are flying eastward and after they turn to the west to make a final approach to runway 28 left. If the procedure is not made permanent, air traffic would revert to the previous procedures. Arrivals to runway 28 left could not be made at the same time as arrivals to runway 28 center. This would lower the arrival rate and increase flight delays at the airport. During the scoping process, the FAA will solicit alternatives from stakeholders and evaluate the alternatives, including the proposed projects. The FAA will also identify alternatives that may meet the airport's needs and avoid or minimize delays. For the proposed terminal buildings and infrastructure, the FAA will consider a no action option without the proposed projects, design variations to the proposed projects, other modes of transportation that involves demand management, and other alternatives received during the scoping. For the proposed airfield and taxiway improvements, the support facilities, and the hotels, the FAA will consider a no action option without the proposed projects, and other alternatives received during scoping. And for the air traffic actions, the FAA will consider a no action option without the proposed projects, and other alternatives received during scoping. The environmental assessment will study conditions in 3 time periods: the existing condition, which is before the proposed projects would begin, an interim year, and the year after the proposed projects would be completed. Within this environmental assessment, the FAA will study these environmental aspects: noise and noise compatible land use, air quality, biological resources, climate, coastal resources, cumulative impacts, hazardous materials along with solid waste and pollution prevention, historical, archaeological, architectural, and cultural resources, excuse me, irreversible and irretrievable commitment of resources, land use, light emissions and visual impacts, natural resources and energy supply, surface transportation and parking, water resources, including wetlands, floodplains, surface waters, and groundwater, and socioeconomics, including environmental justice and children's environmental health. In addition, we have developed geographical areas that depict the extent of the affected area in each category, such as noise, air quality, or cultural and historic resources. The red border here shows the primary study area, which will be used to evaluate detailed land use and noise sensitive sites, along with cultural and historical resources. It encompasses the potential area of the noise contour and includes multiple neighboring communities. Since the environmental assessment will evaluate air traffic changes, this box illustrates a secondary study area. Within this area, we'll look for potential impacts outside of the noise contour. The study area for surface transportation is shown here, and the red border that is near the airport boundary. This is the primary study area for air quality. It was developed to assess air pollutant concentrations resulting from emission sources within and outside the airport. The emission sources may include aircraft, ground support equipment, and vehicles on surrounding roadways. There is also a secondary study area for air quality. It encompasses both DuPage and Cook counties, which are within a US EPA designated ozone non-attainment area. The FAA is asking the public to participate in the scoping process by submitting comments during the 45-day comment period that runs from May 25th to July 9th. Your comments will help the FAA define the range of environmental issues and identify possible alternatives to the study in the environmental assessment. Scoping comments will also be included in the environmental assessment. Public scoping comments are accepted on all topics. Public comments would be most beneficial to the environmental assessment process and to FAA decision makers if they focus on the following topics: the proposed projects, the scope of analysis in the environmental assessment, and alternatives to the proposed projects. Comments can be submitted online through this website that I referenced earlier, via email, via voicemail, or through the post office mail. Comments must be postmarked or submitted online or via email or voicemail by midnight Central Time on July 9th. After the comment period ends on July 9th, the FAA will prepare a draft environmental assessment, and the public will have the opportunity to also comment on that document. The FAA will consider those comments on the draft environmental assessment while preparing the final environmental assessment, which will also include responses to comments. If you have questions about other topics at O'Hare, these are some other websites that contain additional information. One of them is yours. Thank you for your interest in the environmental assessment and for inviting me to give this presentation today.
Thank you, Amy. We have a question from Mayor Police.
Joe, again, we request, as I stated earlier, that questions and comments be submitted online.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Mayor, if you want, you can ask me the question, okay? And we'll just leave it to this one question.
Yeah, I was just curious. She said there's 4 runways right now interim on this offset, and we're only going to look at 2 when we do this study or whatever. Why wouldn't we look at all 4 if we're still spreading the noise around, right?
All right, I don't have an answer to that. I don't, probably nobody else does at the moment, so
Right,
hold up
right.
to that question and we'll ask it again after the meeting, okay, to Jeanette.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
All right. Again, thanks again, Amy.
Thank you again. Take care.
All right. All right, next is the report.
Hey, Joe?
Yes,
Joe.
yes.
Hi, this is Rebecca. I just want to clarify. Obviously, you're welcome to ask Jeanette anything you want, but the FAA can't really comment on that stuff, right? We're in the comment process. So that's why Amy can't take questions.
Okay. So if the mayor has a question, it should be in the form of a question.
Yeah, it should be submitted.
to the process.
Yes.
Does everybody understand that? Good. I see a lot of shaking heads. Good. Yeah, because frankly, nobody in this Zoom other than the FAA is qualified to even come close to answering any of these questions.
Yeah, it
Mr.
should be submitted and then we'll respond through the due course. We're in the official process. So, we gotta follow our rules.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, but just a real quick thing, this is Frank.
Yes,
In her presentation, no, this is no question. In her presentation, when she was itemizing the things that they will be studying, the visual indicated noise and noise monitoring, but she didn't mention it verbally. Does that mean that they made a correction and are not considering noise, or that maybe she just missed it?
they can't
Actually-
answer- What?
I will answer that one real quick. Noise and noise compatible land uses was one of the first items I referenced for the resources.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. But you didn't mention it later on. So in the itemized, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Report of the City of Chicago Department of Aviation. We have one ANMS report from the CDA this morning. And Ryan, you're on.
Good morning, everyone. We have the Airport Noise Management System Monthly Report for April 2021. Pages 1 through 3 provides background and overview of the reports for the month of April. On page 1, we have the aircraft operations summary updated through April 2021 based on the FAA's air traffic activity data system. For April, we saw 46,247 operations for the month. That is up over 90%, close to 90% compared to 2020 April numbers, where we were in close to peak pandemic impact operation levels. Still slightly down from March, although the airport shows continued growth as the airport and operations recover from the pandemic impact. Page 2, the upper portion of page 2 is our wind summary. In the upper right is the wind diagram showing the wind occurrences in the month of April. Again, wind is the key factor, one of the key factors influencing runway use and operations. As you can see from the diagram, there were a majority of wind occurrences coming from the southwest during the month of April. As a result, the airport primarily operated in west flow 62% of the time for the month versus east flow 38%. Therefore, our most used departure runway was 28 right, departing to the west at 43%. Most used arrival runway was 28 center at 30%. Page 3, the bottom shows our total complaints by month, updated through April 2021. For April, the city received 24,796 complaints. That's up about 70% compared to April of 2020. Again, though the April 2020 numbers are reflective of the pandemic impacts, but still slightly up over March of 2020. But that's mostly could be a result of warmer weather and people opening their windows and might be experiencing or noticing more noise than they were in March. Page 4 is our aircraft fleet mix report. The aircraft fleet mix report shows the different types of aircraft that operate in and out of O'Hare, and we break those into 3 major categories. The first is regional aircraft. Regional aircraft represented just over 50% of the total operations at the airport for the month of April. The next group is narrow body aircraft. This aircraft type showed 35.9% of the total operations for the month of April. And the last category is the larger wide body aircraft, which showed 12.6% of the total operations. The average operations per day were 1,528, and 10% of those occurred during the nighttime hours of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Page 5 is our runway use report, where we show the average daily departures and arrivals in the table on the top, as well as the utilization percentages in the bar graphs in the middle and the arrow diagram at the bottom. It's important to note for the month of April, a couple things. As all of you know, the city commissioned Runway 9 Center, 27 Center in November of last year. However, that runway did not see significant utilization until February, when 9 Right 27 Left was closed for the construction of the extension. 9 Right 27 Left will be closed for the majority of the year through December, when that construction for the extension is scheduled to be completed. So as that runway is closed, 9 Center, 27 Center takes on some of the departure flights for that runway. And at the utilization arrows, you'll see that for the month of April, during all hours, runway 28 right had 44% of the departure utilization, and 22 left had 17% in west flow conditions. In east flow, 10 left saw 23% utilization, and 9 center saw 10% utilization. And that 10% is a reflection of that 9 right 27 left being closed for construction. Also showing that the runway 10 left 28 right had close to 67% of the total departure operations for the month of April, going in west flow and east flow. So heavy use of that piece of pavement for the month of April. On the arrival side, we saw 10 Center, 28 Center be the primary arrival runway in both east flow and west flow, carrying 51% of the total utilization for arrivals. When we're in west flow, 27 right, 17%, 27 center, 14%, and 28 center, 30% are our primary runways. In east flow, it's 9 left at 10%, 10 center at 21%, and 10 right at 7%. Page 6 is the runway use report for the nighttime hours between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Similar distribution of departure and arrival traffic or operations. The runway 10 left, 28 right, again, the largest share of departure operations. West flow, 36%, east flow, 25%. On the arrival side, again, 10 center, 28 center, the majority of the arrival operations, 23% in east flow and 33% in west flow. Page 7 is our permanent noise monitor locations diagram, where we show the geographical locations of all 36 of our current permanent noise monitors. This diagram actually will be changing next month. As we have, if you've been following along in the technical committee, although we haven't met in a while, we do have some good news. We have installed a new monitor in Niles, in the village of Niles. It will be Site 45, and that monitor is up and running and has reportable data, and we hope to report on that in the next month, May's report. Page 8 is our aircraft noise report, showing the aircraft DNL values for the month of April for our first set of noise monitors. In the April 21 column, you'll see the color-coded aircraft DNL values. Again, these are color-coded based on the comparison between the same month of the previous year. We do this because there is seasonality, not only as far as weather conditions, but as well as airline schedules. So it is more helpful to compare seasonality comparisons versus month-to-month comparisons. And you can see the majority of noise monitors saw a increase of a decibel or more. When the number is color-coded red, that represents an increase of 1 decibel or more, while green represents a decrease of 1 decibel or more. As we are comparing current April 2021 to last year, April 2020, it is no surprise that because we were close to the height of the impact of the pandemic on the operation levels at O'Hare, we saw a major increase in the noise when it comes to the reflection of the operations increase that we see currently with April 2021. So majority of noise monitors showing an increase of at least a decibel or more, as represented by the 90% increase in operations compared to April of 20. Same story. Before I move on, I forgot to note, Site 17, again, we weren't able to report on. There was that nearby construction that was impacting the noise monitor's ability to record. That construction is complete, and we will should have reportable data for May moving forward for that site. Page 9 is our remaining aircraft noise monitors at O'Hare, showing the aircraft DNL values for April 2021. Again, the majority of monitors showing an increase of 1 decibel or more. Site 22, unfortunately, we weren't able to report on. That location had a microphone malfunction, but that microphone has been temporarily replaced while we get it repaired, and we should have reportable data for May moving forward. Page 10 is our noise complaint report for April 2021. The noise complaint report shows the verifiable households that made complaints in the current month of April, as well as the previous 2 months, as well as the total complaints for the month. Total complaints for the month, again, were 24,796 made by 402 verifiable households. The majority of households making complaints in the month of April were from communities in Chicago, Park Ridge, Rosemont, and Wooddale. A lot of those communities, we saw an increase in households making complaints primarily due to the new operations on Runway 9 Center, 27 Center, and that'll be better depicted on the next page. We have the method of complaint, nature of complaint, and time of complaint on the lower right. By far, website was the preferred method of making noise complaints to the city system. The nature of complaint, 79% was aircraft noise, 13% was low flying, and the time of complaint, 76.9% were made during daytime, and 23% were made during the nighttime hours of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Page 11 shows the geographical location of all the complaints made by verifiable households in the month of April 2021. As you can see, the majority of complaints are spread in a east flow, west flow depiction, with primarily a large concentration of the households lining up with the west flow arrival streams. And you can see specifically with Runway 9 Center, 27 Center, which is in the upper middle of the airfield, the cluster of homes in Rosemont, Park Ridge, Ward 41, most likely due to the new operations on 27 Center on that arrival stream, as well as some complaints as well when 9 Center is being used for departures. The city of Chicago did participate in a public outreach in Park Ridge and at a public meeting, and to discuss the new operations and answer any questions regarding or concerns regarding the operations on 9 Center, 27 Center. That was very helpful for Park Ridge to set up and allow the city to come and speak to the residents and provide more information about the runway and how it's being used. And that completes the report for April 2021.
Thank you, Ryan. Next is my report as chair. Quickly, my goal this year is to have each ONCC member take a more active role in the noise issues facing their communities. Now, what I'm about to say is to some of you preaching to the choir already, because I know some of you are doing a great job with your communities, but maybe some of you need a little bit of education on how to deal with the noise issues, because I tell you what, I've been doing this since 2003, and noise issues are tough. They're not easy things to deal with at all. And the more education we have on how to deal with them, the better I think, the the more effective I think ONCC will be. We are going to be offering each member the communication tools needed to understand some of the technical jargon and offer tips when addressing your constituents who are impacted by the noise in their neighborhood. We will be initiating Membership 101 as a tool to address realistic expectations regarding aircraft noise. And this is, I think, what's most important that ONCC can do. Realistic expectations, honest answers. Because I think one of the worst things we can do is allow people within our community to continually say things that are simply not true. We need to deal with those people who do that and educate them in an honest way. We will keep you posted as we develop the new informative member sessions. ONCC members are the conduit for the communities. I speak to the members of my community and who complain about airport noise. In fact, I even have a few community people who email me and we go back and forth as to what's going on. And sometimes I have to be brutally honest with them and they don't like the answer, but that's what has to happen. We want all members to be knowledgeable and have a set of talking points available. We are all on the same page so that we're all on the same page. Ultimately, I'd like to see ONCC as the receptor of all complaints and the place where the knowledge is dispensed. So when somebody in the community has a question, they don't hesitate. They go to ONCC through the member, and the answer is given in an honest, concise manner. I have a few other ideas, but that's the one I wanted to tell you today. Next on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman. Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, this is
Yes.
Pete Silvestri. Can you add me to the roll call, please? I was late.
Oh, of course.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Let's talk about that in about 6 months, okay?
How about 3?
Yeah, next week maybe. All right, next are the reports from the standing committees. First is Fly Quiet. Karen?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. The Fly Quiet Committee met on Thursday, May 27th via Zoom teleconferencing. Our meeting agenda focused on approving or rejecting suggested modifications to alternatives B and H. We were successful in taking 3 actions on modifications to alternative B. A motion carried to swap out weeks 4 and 5 and weeks 10 and 11 of alternative B to avoid consecutive impacts. A motion carried for Landerman Brown to bring back a new modification for runway 4 left departure headings on weeks 9 and 3. And a motion carried to approve the original departure headings for runway 9 right on weeks 11 and 5. The committee will resume reviewing and voting on the remaining departure headings for alternative B and then begin reviewing alternative H in the same manner. Our next Fly Quiet meeting will be held in person at Cafe Le Cab on Tuesday, June 22nd at 9:30 a.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Karen. Next, we have a report from the residential committee. Ralph?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. The residential committee met on May 12th, 2021 for phase 17, bid package 3, which includes 130 historic homes in the Norwood Park Historical District. The city received bids on September 17th, 2020, and is in the process of awarding a construction contract. For phase 18, there were 528 homes eligible for participation. Of those 528 homes, 398 homes enrolled in this phase, and the remaining homes were re-invited to enroll in the OHIR phase 19. Home inventory appointments were conducted in 390 homes with 8 remaining. The homeowners for those 8 homes were concerned with having people in their home during the COVID-19 pandemic, so their home may end up being included in phase 19 to give the homeowner more time. Phase 18 will be divided into 2 construction contracts, phase 18A for the first 225 homes and phase 18B for the remaining homes. The city of Chicago received bids on February 11th, 2021 for Phase 18A and is in the process of awarding a construction contract soon. The city of Chicago is expected to advertise for Phase 18B construction bids in the third quarter of this year. For Phase 19, there were 1,122 homes eligible for participation, but only 376 completed their enrollment at this time. The COVID-19 pandemic impacted the ability to conduct home inventory appointments for this phase. Home inventory appointments were conducted for a few weeks last fall, but were stopped because of an increase in the spread of the coronavirus in November. Home inventory appointments slowly resumed again in February of this year when the COVID-19 positivity rate started to reduce. At this time, 198 home inventory appointments are completed and additional appointments are being scheduled. Specification documents are being prepared for 2 construction contracts. Phase 19A will include 200 homes and Phase 19B will include the remaining homes. At this time, it is anticipated that 19A will be advertised for bids in the third quarter of this year. 19B will be advertised for bids in the fourth quarter of this year. The next residential committee meeting will take place on Wednesday, September 29th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. And we are scheduled to be on Zoom. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ralph.
Oh, you're welcome.
Next, a report from the ONCC Executive Director, starting with the May 2021 financial report.
Thank you. I'd like to report the expenses for the month of May in the amount of $13,446.15. If there are any questions, I take them at this time.
Motion to approve the financial report for May 2021 is presented.
I will second.
All right, call the vote.
Yes. Village of Addison,
Yes.
Bartlett, Bensonville,
Yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago, City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes.
38th Ward,
Yes.
39th Ward,
Yes.
41st,
Yes.
Cook County,
Yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes.
DuPage County,
Yes.
Elmhurst,
Yes.
Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Glenview,
Yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights,
Yes.
Lincolnwood,
Yes.
Melrose Park,
Yes.
Niles,
Yes.
Norwich,
Yes.
North Lake,
Yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest, River Grove,
Yes.
Rosemont,
Yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park,
Yes.
South Barrington,
Yes.
St. Charles,
Yes.
Stone Park,
Yes.
Wooddale,
Yes.
School District 81,
Yes.
86,
Yes.
87,
Yes.
89,
Yes.
234,
Yes.
and 401.
Yes for Bartlett.
Thank you. The next ONCC meeting will be held in person on September 10th at Cafe La Cave at 8 a.m. At this time, I'd like to take time out to inform the ONCC members that after careful consideration and in consultation with the ONCC chair, it is time for me to part ways with ONCC. My last official day here will be July 30th. I'd like to thank everyone for your support over the last 22 years of my career. It's been a true honor to work with every single one of you. And that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jeanette. I got to tell you, I was really taken back when this situation unfolded. We are really going to miss Jeanette.
Right.
But I'm sure we will survive and we'll do fine. And Jeanette, we wish you the best. All right, next is comments from ONCC members, and I would ask that the comments are limited to 3 minutes. Any comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
good morning. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to mention real briefly, Chair, and this goes back to Ryan's presentation. I apologize, I was unable raise my hand quick enough when he finished. I just wanted to publicly thank Ryan and Aaron both for the meeting they did for Park Ridge. It was beyond informative. It was very well done. And one of the benefits of doing it by video conference is it was recorded. Park Ridge is able to post that on its website for constituents to view after the meeting. And it's still up there today. And any commission member could view that as well. And so I just wanted to pass that on and publicly thank both Ryan and Aaron for taking the time for that meeting. And Chair, I'll echo your comments. Jeanette, thank you for your time. You will be missed. I yield, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnie. If there isn't any other comments, we have one comment from the audience, and that is Dan Dwyer. Dan?
Thank you, Chair. I guess a question first on the terminal area plan. In the airfield and taxiway improvements not required by the terminal project section, doesn't really explain why these improvements are being requested. And they sort of constitute quite a bit of proposed new pavement on previously completed portions of the airfield, I think, which makes it difficult for the average person to determine what effect these changes might have on airfield operations and noise. And I'm wondering if there are any additional resources beyond the 24-page description of the proposed projects that might explain some of these changes.
Dan, your questions certainly could be submitted to the scoping process.
Okay.
And that's where they'll be dealt with, okay?
One more comment though.
Okay.
And I guess my concern with that is asking for more information in the scoping process seems too late to provide relevant questions to the scoping process. So that's why the purpose of looking for additional information. But my other comment on the terminal area plan is I think some further clarification is needed as to what configurations would receive priority for the simultaneous triple approach. The graphics in the TAP could be interpreted as a change from the recorded decision in the utilization of 10 right, 28 left. But thank you for letting me comment.
Thank you. If there aren't any other comments, do I hear a motion to and a second to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move.
So moved. Second, Park Ridge.
Okay, and now Dennis, was that you? Did you make the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, call the roll.
Village of Addison. Bartlett,
Yes.
Bensenville,
Yes.
Bloomingdale,
Yes.
City of Chicago,
Yes.
City of Chicago 36th Ward,
Yes.
38th Ward,
Yes.
39th, 41st,
Yes.
Cook County,
Yes.
Des Plaines,
Yes.
DuPage County, Elmhurst, Elmwood Park,
Yes.
Glenview,
Yes.
Hanover Park,
Yes.
Harwood Heights.
Yes, and we'll miss you, Jeanette.
Thank you. Lincolnwood,
Yes.
Melrose Park,
Yes.
Niles,
Yes.
Norwich,
Yes.
North Lake,
Yes.
Park Ridge,
Yes.
River Forest, River Grove,
Yes.
Rosemont,
Yes.
Schaumburg,
Yes.
Schiller Park.
Yes, and thank you, Jeanette, for all your work.
Thank you. South Barrington,
Yes.
St. Charles,
Yes.
Stone Park,
Yes.
Wooddale,
Yes.
School District 81,
Yes.
86,
Yes.
87,
Yes, thank you, Ms. Camacho.
thank you, 89,
Yes.
234,
Yes.
and 401. Thank you, everyone.
How about a round of applause? How about a round of applause for Jeanette?
Yeah.
Great job, Jeanette.
Thank you, Jeanette. I really
We're gonna miss
appreciate
you.
it.
Good job, Jeanette. We're gonna miss you.
I hope everybody has a nice summer. And I'm looking forward to September 10th because I'll get to see people that I haven't seen in over a year. I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you for attending. Good morning.
Thank you, guys.